Welcome back to the Block Searcher Pay YouTube channel. Today we're going to be going through and actually cleaning up this arcade. I started it somewhat last week, moved all that glass I got from that auction under this table, and then I decided I needed this shelf for my heater, and yeah, that's where we're at, and I didn't do any cleaning when I was going to. This arcade has been an absolute chaos ever since I got that auction purchase. I'm going to have to vacuum these floors like 20 times to get this stuff out of this floor, but yeah, it's been an absolute mess and is just absolute chaos. This is the problem with having anything flat around me. It becomes a table. I'm building this really nice looking shelf, in my opinion. I'm not sure what kind of wood it was. I never did figure that out. This is just polyurethane. You got the old sawmill marks on it. Very cool. We made some custom legs out of some pinball legs, and that's to hide the glass that's there. Now this will come back against it here to cover up that glass the rest of the way. So we're going to throw some of the stuff that's on this air hockey table on this nice little shelf here. Goodwill really pisses me off sometimes. How am I supposed to remove these stickers without ruining these sleeves? These records have taken months longer than I expected to go through. This is absolutely ridiculous. There is hundreds more here than I originally thought, and it is taking so long to go through and add all of them to Discogs. Pick up the next record and like, damn, that's light. This is a vinyl 78, another US military record. That's pretty cool. This record right here is extremely cool, not just because it's from 1916, but the sleeve that it has, look at that. That's a Victrola credenza, the exact one that we're restoring. And if we look on the back, it has a few different ones here, including the Victrola credenza. That is really cool. Okay, so every single record is now clean. We're gonna have to wait for them to dry a little bit, then we can re-sleeve them all and add them all into Discogs, which is gonna take forever, but at least they're all clean. Previously, I'd found these 5 V-discs. Now, if you don't know what V-discs are, they have an incredible history from World War II. They're extremely cool, and they also have a little bit of a value, about 20 bucks a piece from what I was seeing on eBay, and a bit more depending on how rare the disc is. But I had found 5. Apparently, I have 16 more. That's super awesome. I'm definitely going to have to go through these and see which ones I have, but that is an incredibly cool find. I ended up finding these 5 78 RPM 12-inch shellac records. These are really cool. I believe these ones are around the 20s, these ones are around the 40s. Still extremely cool. And these 2 right here are also extremely cool because these are single-sided 12-inch shellac records. I believe this one's from like 1917 or something, and this one's from 1919. Extremely cool. So I think I have a misprint. This side here is White Christmas on the B side, and on the other side it's White Christmas on the B side. From what I can tell, it's supposed to be Silent Night on one side and White Christmas on the other side, but let's play this and see if it's actually White Christmas on both sides, or if it was a misprint and they put the wrong label on. Yep, that's Silent Night. So we officially have a misprint. That's really cool. Now, I've actually been going through Discogs for these last ones. I've been marking down which box each record's in, so when I actually want to find a record, I don't have to search through every single box. I can just, you know, it's in box 1, it's one of those 20 records or so. It has taken literally all day, but I finally got all these added into Discogs and sorted. I started this in the early afternoon, and it is now almost 11 o'clock at night, but all of these have been sorted and added into Discogs. Now, I did not end up resorting the first couple boxes I did because, well, it took so long, and I really didn't feel like it. If I need one of those records, I just have to search through 6 boxes. It's not that difficult, right? Now, these 2 piles here are records that aren't added into my Discogs because they aren't on Discogs. So we're going to have to do something about that, but not now. I sat in this racing chair basically all day on my laptop, adding records into Discogs and then slapping them in a box. Now, we also still have a bunch of 45s that we'll have to go through, but I also have a bunch of other 45s that I need to go through, so that'll probably be another full day process eventually. These I can hide away somewhere now. Now, these ones here, I'm not sure what to do with. These are the ones that are cracked, some a lot more than others. Some just have a small little crack, and some are completely shattered. Like that one there. It's really good, except for a small crack. And there's a lot like that. So I'm not sure if we're going to try repairing those or what we're going to do with those. Or don't feel like throwing them out. That feels like really bad, but I don't know. Now we just have to take this cart of records and kind of roll it over and slide it under one of those pinball machines. We got to make a pretty sharp 90-degree turn. We'll see how this goes. I can actually see a decent amount of the floor for once, so I think we're going to vacuum this. I haven't vacuumed this floor since I got that giant auction lot, and you can tell that auction stuff had a lot of dirt in it. It's pretty disgusting. Now, I do have this pile of cardboard I'll have to get rid of. Some other trash in there, some CDs we'll have to move, records we'll have to move, all of that stuff will have to go away, and obviously all of that stuff will have to go away. But for now, Let's start vacuuming. There we go. Now we're looking like an arcade again. That's a lot better. There we go. Now we're an arcade again. That looks much better. Now today we're actually going to try and repair some of these correct 78s. I know they're not really going to be all that playable, but if I want to make something with them, like clocks or something, I'd like them to stay in one piece at least. Now, obviously there's some that are just unsavable. These are way too demolished, but ones like this Victor here had a very nice little crack going through it, but a little bit of super glue, and it seems to be, well, in a disc shape at least. There's also this kind of damage that's definitely not savable, so make a nice clock, right? And there's also ones with just hairline fractures like this. You can't really even see it. Just a small amount of glue there will keep this from cracking further, and I think this will be totally playable. Now that I'm fully surrounded in broken records that have been glued together, let's see if we manage to actually fix any. This one here had a little bit of a crack. I think it'll play with a pop, but let's see if it'll play. There's a little bit of something, but honestly, compared to the rest of the record noise just from being a used record, that's pretty good. It's a bit more what I expected. There's a little bit of a click every time this one goes around, but it's still playable. Some of these definitely repaired better than others, but some of these repaired absolutely beautifully. Like, you really can't even tell that record's cracked. We were able to save a lot more of those than I thought. This pile here is the ones that are still just too far gone to play. These ones here are all playable. Some of them have a little bit of a pop, but for considering the age of these records being, I think the newest one being at least 70 years old, they're very much playable. So I'm going to re-sleeve those up and throw those in storage. These ones I'll put somewhere because they're round. We can make clocks or art pieces with them, I guess. And then that pile is ones that are just completely shattered and missing parts. We're not quite done with records yet. We got this one last box of albums to go through. Not sure if they're complete. This one doesn't quite look complete, but I guess we'll go through and see what we got. 100 of the world's most beautiful love songs. Oh, actually, there's records in here. Unsleeved. That's concerning. I don't actually have any 12-inch record sleeves, unfortunately, with me right now. Unfortunately, we're missing a few records out of that one. We do have the complete Magic of Christmas. Unfortunately, we're missing disc 8 out of that. So this one here is complete, and so is that one. Let's see if these last two are complete. And both of these ones are actually complete, so the majority of them were at least complete. That's pretty good news. Also, almost forgot to film this. At the beginning, we had a medium value of $500 with 210 records. We're now up to 791, so we added over 500 records, and now we're at 2,400 with a maximum of 4,300, but we're far from that, that's for sure. But that's pretty cool. We definitely added a decent amount of value considering how very little I paid for that auction lot, and considering I didn't even consider the records when I bought that auction lot. You also have to consider that $2,425 is with, I did the counting, 300 of these records having absolutely zero value listed in Discogs because none have ever sold. So even at $1 a piece, there's another like $300, and I imagine some of those would probably sell for a little bit more than $1 a piece. So that's a pretty low estimate, but also you gotta find buyers, and let's be real, who's buying 78 RPM shellac records these days? We've got all these records cleaned up, and we've started cleaning up in here. I also need to clean up over here, which I've started to by clearing off these pinball machines. A few more things we got to get off there, a spare 3D printer and all that fun stuff. Working on getting everything ripped off this air hockey table so we can get this thing cleaned off. Got a TV sitting here I'll have to put somewhere, and an Apple III and speaker and amp. But we're getting there. It's looking pretty good. I had to turn down the heat because it's getting way too warm in here, but it's getting there. And there we go. It's only took a few months after buying that auction purchase, but we are cleaned up from that auction purchase. Most of the machines are functional. I did do a play test. Everything except Operation Wolf. That seems to cut in and out every now and then, so that's going to be fun. Virtual Cop, obviously. That, obviously. I think the one monitor keeps messing up, the left monitor on that title fight, but they're Nanio monitors. They love to do that. And then our Mega Touch on the other side is also acting up, and the Aztec pinball machine is just looping when you turn it on, but that should just be a dirty contact. But if you like what you saw, please leave a like and subscribe. I guess it's time to move on to some other stuff.